Hello everyone, I am Abinaya, Assistant Professor at Dr. SNS College of Education, Coimbatore. Today, we are going to discuss a very serious issue, that is the extinction of flora and fauna. So, we will be discussing the importance of flora and fauna, causes of extinction, and the conservation methods in detail in this video. Let us get into the video. Flora and fauna. Flora refers to all plant life and fauna it refers to all animal life. Together these two make up the biodiversity. But unfortunately what happened is many species of plants and animals are disappearing forever. So this is what we call it as extinction. So this is just not a scientific concern and it is a human concern because when species vanish, the balance of the nature breaks down and it directly affects our survival. Importance of flora and fauna. So, flora and fauna are very important. So, before getting into the importance, let me explain how extinction can happen. So, it can happen in two ways. First one is natural extinction and the next one is human caused extinction. So, natural extinction is caused by natural disasters. As we have already discussed, we know what are the natural disasters are like volcanic eruptions, then avalanche, or it may be because of tsunami or cyclone or some other evolutionary changes. So for example, when you take dinosaurs went extinct millions of years ago and human caused extinction is the next wave, that is the biggest concern today because human activities like deforestation, hunting and pollution are making the species disappear much faster than ever before. So, coming to the importance of flora and fauna, flora, the plants, they produce oxygen and they absorb the carbon dioxide. They provide food, medicine, raw materials, and maintain the balance of ecosystems. When you take animals, that is fauna, they help in pollination, seed dispersal, maintaining of food chains, and they provide food, clothing, and companionship to humans. Together, flora and fauna, they support biodiversity, they regulate the climate, and they sustain life on earth. So this is how they are very important for us. Threat to flora and fauna. The first and foremost important cause of extension of flora and fauna is the deforestation and habitat loss. So when you take deforestation and habitat loss, main thing is clearing of forest areas. So when forest areas are clear for agriculture, industries or cities, both plants and animals, they lose their homes. Without habitat, they cannot survive. The next one is the climate change. When you take climate change, because of rising global temperatures, irregular rainfall, droughts and floods, the ecosystem gets changed and some species they cannot adapt to these changes and they die. So the third one is pollution. So the toxic chemicals in water, air and soil, they damage the living organisms. So we have already discussed about all these pollutions in detail and these things, they damage the living organisms. For example, oil spills, they destroy the marine plants and animals. So next one is over exploitation. What do you mean by over exploitation? Humans exploit plants and animals for timber, food, medicine and ornaments. So the tigers were hunted for skins, elephants for ivory and sandalwood for perfumes. So this is called over exploitation. So humans, we exploit plants and animals, which is a major cause. And then invasive species. So sometimes foreign species are introduced into ecosystems either accidentally or intentionally. So these species compete with local flora and fauna and sometimes wipe them out. For example, when you take water hyacinth, the plant invaded in Indian water bodies and killed many native aquatic plants. So and out of all this, finally, we have urbanization and industrialization. When we expand cities, when industries grow and cutting off um, uh, Animal migration paths and disturbing natural habitats play a very important role in extinction of flora and fauna. Effects of extinction. So effects and solutions. So what happens when species go extinct? The effects are very serious really. So first one is the loss of biodiversity. The variety of life decreases and the ecosystems become weaker, and the disturbance of food chains, like if one species disappears, the whole food web is affected. For example, if honeybees, if they disappear, pollination stops and the plants they cannot reproduce and the agriculture collapses. So third one is loss of medicinal plants. Many life-saving medicines come from plants, that we all know. So if plants go extinct, we lose potential cures. And impact on humans is agriculture and fisheries, they decline, and natural resources they become scarce, and humans may face food shortages. And then climate imbalance is the main thing. Fewer trees mean more carbon dioxide, which increases global warming. Already we have discussed about global warming, which is an alarming issue in today's world. So extinction is not just about losing plants and animals, it is about threatening the survival of human beings themselves. Conservation measures. So finally, let us talk about what can be done. At the government level, we have laws like the Wildlife Protection Act of 1972 in India, and protected areas such as the national parks, wildlife sanctuaries, and the biosphere reserves are established to safeguard the species. So, international treaties like CITES regulate the trade in endangered species. And at the scientific level, we have captive breeding programs in zoos, botanical gardens, and seek banks to preserve genetic material. For example, cheetah reintroduction project in India. At community level, awareness programs, eco clubs, and NGO initiatives, they play a huge role, and villagers nearby forests are being educated to protect instead of exploitation. And at the individual level, each of us can contribute by planting trees, reducing waste, avoiding products made from animal skin or ivory, and supporting eco-friendly policies. So in short, the conservation is everyone's responsibility. Governments, not only the government's responsibility, it is the individual. We, the individual, must step forward in order to be very responsible. Let us be responsible and conserve our flora and fauna. Finally, remember this quote: when the last tree is cut, the last fish is caught, and the last river is polluted, we will realize that we cannot eat money. So let us protect biodiversity, not just for the sake of plants and animals, but for our survival itself. Thank you.